I'm Joseph O'Connor and I'm the Frank McCourt Chair of Creative Writing here at the University of Limerick. I've had the task of getting the creative writing section up and running, so it's been a huge challenge, but a really exciting one, a job that I feel thrilled to have. I knew Frank McCourt slightly. I had immense respect and affection for him and for his achievements in literature. And I think about Frank often. Frank was, as people will know, a writer and a novelist, but very much a teacher, and I think a teacher first and foremost. And I think of him often as a kind of mentoring spirit. Well, the One Campus, One Book initiative is a very interesting project that was started here at UL in recent years, and it's just based on the lovely idea that everybody on campus would be encouraged to read the same book at the same time. So students, faculty, staff, and they would be focused on discussing it, talking about it, criticising it, liking it, disliking it, but that the entire community would be encouraged to have a relationship with one particular book. So I think it's a great idea. The book this year is my own latest novel, The Thrill of It All. The opening of the book deals with a number of young students who meet each other in the first few weeks of college back in the 1980s. A period in all of our lives, I think, where very intense friendships are formed. I mean, it's a long time now since I went to college, but I would say that my 15 or 20 best friends still are people that I met in the opening months of my college career. It's such an intense time of change and excitement in your life, and all kinds of new horizons are opening up. And that's what happens in The Thrill of It All. These 3 or 4 people meet in college in the autumn of 1981, and they decide to form a rock band. And so the book sort of looks at the innocence of youth, and at the same time, I hope it respects the notion that in some ways when you're young, you know more than when you're old. You're more open to the world. The world is your oyster when you're young. And I see students here around the buildings and the corridors of UL. And I don't envy them, because I think it's a difficult time now to be young, but at the same time I am aware of the intense and important and exciting changes that are happening in their lives, and that's something that I tried very much to write about in The Thrill of It All. So I hope that it will touch and entertain student readers as much as my colleagues. I suppose the public reading of books has become a bigger thing in recent years. Now I'm going to read a bit from this novel, The Thrill of It All, and thank you to Tina and to all of my colleagues. So the bit that I'm going to read, Robbie and Fran have been out this evening at a concert. And what they did before this was they went around all the music pubs in Luton and they put up postcards auditioning for a drummer to join them. And they put on this postcard Jimmy and Alice's phone number. So the parents are not going to appreciate this very much. Jimmy is one of those Irish men. He's a very, very good-hearted man. He's a lovely man. He works as a zookeeper in Whipsnade Zoo, and he loves his 2 sons, Robbie and Shay, and he adores his wife, but he's one of those fathers who thinks that it is his duty to lose his temper with his children. And of course his teenage sons find this completely hilarious. Now, there are a lot of chapters in this book that have no swearing, and the bit that I'm going to read tonight isn't one of those. By the time I got home that night, my dad, Jimmy, was in a state of what used to be called, by him certainly, high dudgeon. With the chilly words, "Oi you, bollocky Bill," I was beckoned to the kitchen as I tried to creep my way up the strangely reversing escalator that my drunkenness had made of the stairs. His glower appeared at me kaleidoscopically, revolving in quartet like the faces of Queen in the video for Bohemian Rhapsody. Alcohol is a terrible thing. Not only had he opened the electricity bill, the monthly arrival of which he feared and detested, blaming me for turning on the immersion system deliberately for no other reason than to enrage him, largely true. But the phone had been ringing all night with would-be drummers. He was angry, tired, hungry, vengeful, and scarlet as an aroused baboon's arse. Bad enough that I should treat his home like a fucking hotel. But now I was treating it like an office for fucking daisies. And he wouldn't stand for it, did I hear? No, he wouldn't. Who did I think I was? Colonel Tom fucking Parker. The image of an office for daisies was threatening to make me laugh. Quentin Crisp dusting the photocopier. Oscar Wilde typing invoices. The noted female impersonator Danny LaRue high-kicking about the works canteen in taffeta. And it was always hard not to laugh when Jimmy gave out to you if he was wearing his zookeeper's uniform at the time and when he used the word daisy in that way. But I tried not to. To him, the word daisy meant a directionless layabout rather than an effeminate person. Not that these categories were mutually exclusive in what he often called his way of thinking. I'll read it to you if you like, I said. Do you want to pull up a chair? Oh, you're terrible smart, aren't you? Prince Fucky the Ninth. And you arson your way through the world like a daisy, I suggested. At this point, perhaps mercifully, Mum entered the kitchen, looking weary and glancing conspicuously away from my brother's investigations of his southerly person, to say that there was an individual calling himself Bongo on the phone in the blessed hall. Blessed was the nearest my mum ever came to a curse word, and Bongo had recently departed a group with a name of almost libelous unpleasantness, and Bongo was only one of a profusion of drummers to have telephoned the house that night, and for the love of the living God and our Holy Virgin Mother could I not make it stop, and where had I been till this hour? In the library writing an essay, I slurred, on Blake's imagery. I know the library you were in, Jimmy said coldly. A library called Sheeran's Bar. I have never been in Sheeran's Bar in my life, I responded, lying in the sake of the cause. I know damn well the essay he was writing, Jimmy said. An essay on the imagery of my hole. That would certainly make an interesting theme, I said. Especially for a sociologist, my brother added crucially. Moments later, smoke and good night. Thank you.